Hi, this is Jackie. Welcome. This is The Konekt, and you're watching the Mother's Day special. I'm a mother of two boys, a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. I'm a wife. I am an employee. So I teach, I work for Swinburne University, and I really many things. And above all, I think I would like to describe myself as a lover of community, a lover of people, a person who wants to be known and remembered for my willingness to journey with people and just be a part of people's story and their journey. In one word, motherhood is love. Love. You both ways. I think you experience a love such as you have not known, but also on the converse, you also experience a love such as you've never known. So I would use love. That is motherhood.
Amazing.
Interesting question there, Pete. Growing up, there was different mothers in my life, and of course you always think about your biological or your birth mother, but then along the journey there's also the mothers, the other women who come into your life. And so maybe I can talk from both perspectives. So I think the mother figure, my mother, was very much a disciplinarian, and maybe that is how my vision of a mother is, the one who, that death stare, you're looked at and you just know, oh, okay, I better toe the line. But on the same token, there's, women that I crossed paths with who became my mothers, and I saw so many different facets of motherhood. So they became friends, they became confidants, they became women I look at and I think, oh, wow, this is the possibility for a woman. So yeah, very, very good role models, I would say, in the women who've been my mothers and not just my birth mother. With motherhood, I feel in many ways it's how society almost makes it like it's a must do. You've got those transitions in life. Oh, you need to study and study hard. And when you finish, get married. And when you get married, have children. And so I think I kind of just did what society expects. But can I say it has been by far the best journey. So I think it was just one of those things that there's an expectation in society. You will become a mother. And I did become a mother. But oh my goodness, nothing could have prepared me for just how amazing the journey has been. I'm a mother of two boys. One is 8 and the other is 5. And yeah, it's great being a mother of boys. I mean, I don't know about any different, but being a mother of boys is quite special. You see, when I grew up, I had a very, what I would perhaps call a distant relationship with my mother. I think because of that aspect of it's very disciplined. You're raised up with discipline. She's not there to be your friend. She's not there to be your confidant. She's not there to be your best friend, all of those sorts of qualities. So it was very much a mother-daughter functional relationship. You need to do this. You cannot do this, that sort of relationship. But can I say, though, that as I've gotten older, and certainly since I've had my own children, it's amazing how you all of a sudden have a real appreciation for what it was. Before you think, how can she be so, whatever it is. But now as a mom, I really do get it. You just understand that mothers operate from a place of love. And it's so easy for me now to look back and see, oh, wow, how harshly I judged certain situations or things. And it's different now. I'm just like, oh, wow, thank you. I'll be calling her on Mother's Day, if not before. How funny. Yeah, I kind of swore I will never, when I have my children, I will never. And it's funny, those I will nevers are the very things you end up doing. But I have been shaped in many ways by the kind of parenting I got. 2 ways. One, the understanding the importance of discipline, understanding the importance of, how, you said parameters, you said boundaries. So that aspect I've gleaned from my growing up. But also, The other thing too that it's really informed me is the importance of relationships. So important to inculcate a relationship with your children. By building up friendship with them, it doesn't make you less of a parent. It doesn't mean that you cannot also parent them, but I think you can achieve a lot more if you're dealing with your children as friends, as much as you are the parent. I think you gain a lot more by being a friend as well, and maybe that's one thing that I've done differently, is I've tried to really foster a friendship, a connection, so that they can be comfortable to talk to me, not just about their successes, but even about their failures, because that's important. And so, yeah, friendship, discipline from my mom, boundaries from my mom, but friendship from from my own experience of growing up. That's right. Yeah, great question. So, growing up in Kenya, and I'm just talking about my personal experience because I've certainly talked to people whose experiences were very different. But growing up in Kenya, the parental role was very much that. I'm there to discipline you, I'm there to direct you, I'm there to guide you, and that's where it starts and stops. Now, coming to Australia, I found, as I have observed, and I had the benefit of observing parents for many years before I had my own. I worked in retail for 10 years, and I'd see people coming into the shops with their children, and so I'd observe and I'd listen. And one thing that struck me about the culture and the way of life here is that, and I know it's diverse, but I'm now talking about largely, the Australian, your typical Australian. One thing that really struck me about them is how they have conversations with their children, not like a subordinate, maybe a bit slow, does not really understand, but like natural conversations and consulting them and asking them questions. And it was just completely foreign to me because I grew up in an environment, and I'm speaking for myself again, where children are seen and not heard. You're seen, but you're not heard. So you can't come and give your opinion unless, no one would be asking for it, but you cannot dare think of giving your opinion. So with that, that's the aspect of this culture that I've taken on, that I have learned to have conversations, to consult, to not assume they don't understand because they're children. And so we have conversations. Okay, so what do you think about this? Or, how about this, that? And you'd be amazed, the depth of conversations we can have. So that's in terms of what I've adopted from here. What have I adopted from the Kenyan, the cultural? I feel that there has also really been a positive influence in knowing the value of a parent, knowing that they are to be respected, knowing the honor you put on your parents, knowing that, the understanding the sacrifices even. And I think that's lacking in some ways here. Like I find, there's almost a taking for granted. It's an entitlement. It's my mom, it's my dad, they should do this, they should do that. But I think culturally we have a real respect and regard and honor for parents. There'd never be a day where you have a falling out with your parents. It just would not be, a day I say, I'm not talking to my parents, because it just would not happen. And so those aspects I've taken, and I'd like to hope that those are things I'm instilling in my children about the honor and the value of a parent, but on the same token, also instilling in them that we can have an open, a candid, a transparent relationship. I can trust their judgment and that sort of thing. So I'm talking to moms who've come into Australia, and you're thinking, I'm going to raise my children how I've done it in Kenya or how I was raised. And I'd really say to you that there are really good aspects of our culture, and please retain those. But there's lessons to be learned, and there's growth for all of us. So embrace the positives you find with raising children here. Raise your children knowing that they're growing up in a different culture, a different environment. You don't want your child to be the one who's alienated or excluded or in some ways feels that their parents don't understand them, because there is not that willingness to understand or to embrace. So I'm not by any means saying forsake the culture that we've grown up in, but learn to embrace it. What are those good things about how children are being raised here, and embrace those? And can I also say there's no weakness in asking. Ask another parent, or what do you think? Or there are even parenting courses. And I think maybe that's one thing too, Peter, can I add? That with parenting, it's by far the most important job I think you can have. But we certainly fall short in investing in parenting. Like, we'll spend on courses to better ourselves, to, a course in this, that, the other, but very, very few people take courses in raising their children or in nurturing their children. And so I'm also still speaking to those moms, and to all moms generally. Sometimes you get to a place where as a mom you have no idea. It is okay to enroll in a course and say, oh, I'd like to learn, I'd like to grow, I'd like to improve. Okay. Yeah, oh my goodness, at the start, oh my goodness, no one prepares you. They throw you a baby shower and they tell you how amazing it will be. You're told, oh, bundle of joy, and they use all these beautiful phrases. And then the baby comes, and it is far from a bundle of joy. You have sleepless nights, and you're just, like tired and overworked. Non-stop, it's round the clock. They're demanding, they're crying, all of those things. So the initial journey is a baptism by fire, like literally, you're like, oh my goodness. And there's no turning back. Once you're a mom, you're a mom. You can't say, oh, have them, it's too hard. Yeah, no. So I think those initial days, for me, if I was to describe the lows, those initial days were difficult. It's the sleepless nights. It's the not knowing. You haven't been, you haven't had a baby, or I certainly hadn't been around babies before. So even it's simple things, that changing the diapers, or they're crying. What are they crying about? Are they hungry? Are they wet? Are they, all of those things. So for me, it was difficult. And then mind you, you don't have the supports like that mother. You're like, can she be here at a time like this to guide me and to help me through it? So you're almost in some ways stumbling through it. And that is the low. Now the high is once they start to communicate, once you can have a conversation with them, once they can understand instructions, once they can communicate their desires, their wants, and that has been the best journey. I truly, truly, truly cannot imagine a life without my children, because I've found that they bring something, empathy for one. You just somehow learn to not be judgmental. I don't know, children bring that in you. You don't judge. I can tell you the number of times I judge people, judge their parenting, or if they've spared the rod, and that's a rotten child. But you have your own, and all those judgments fly out the window. Now, if I see a child screaming and kicking in the shops, I empathize with the mom. I'm not judging. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what can I do to help? Because I understand and I know. So, so many wonderful lessons. Love, like I said at the start, unconditional love. They just love you, and they see you through, they say the rose-colored glasses. To them, there can be no better mom, no better friend, and it's amazing. So those are the highs. You also learn to embrace things and see things through a child's perspective, a child's eyes. That you can go to a play center and jump on a trampoline. I mean, Jackie is jumping on. But you learn to let loose. Life is good. Life is fun. Take it easy. So I've really enjoyed those. So those are the highs for me as a mom.
Has it made you feel a bit younger?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. You feel younger. And you feel younger because you are, you're able to enjoy things with them. There's a freedom they bring to you, and you're not as stiff. It's okay to have fun, and with that you feel youthful. So yes to that. Yeah, good question. For myself, I've found that my faith, and I've said this before, my faith is so integral. Like, I find it's like an antidote, like a medication. And so for me, that's so important. So I take time out. And when I say take time out, as in I'll take time out and I'll, have my Bible there, I'll pray and spend that time, have a cup of tea and just sit and ponder and just think. And there's just something good about that reflection and introspection and, really just pouring my heart out that way. I'm just like, oh Lord, I just don't know. I cannot see. I cannot, whatever it priorities. And there's just something for me that really does something. It shifts something within me. And for me, that's a daily exercise, something I do daily, and I've seen the rewards of it. But overall, to moms, I'd say to you, find some way of doing something different. I think moms can be so giving and fantastic. That's wonderful. But then there needs to be a time where you pour into you. And I'm saying pour into yourself. Don't wait for your spouse or your whoever to pour into you, because you may be disappointed. It's you find those ways of pouring into yourself. If that means you take a cup of tea, I've had this, by the way, where moms, lock the door, bathroom door, sit in the bathroom for a few minutes, but no children, no interruptions. Do that. Maybe it's you go out with girlfriends and catch a coffee or, take a walk, but find ways to care for yourself. You need to step away from the children. You need to find what's important to you. You need to recharge without them. But as I say that, I am mindful that there are single moms as well. There are single moms who may find that there is not the opportunity for them to step away. And for those moms, I'd say maybe find a space within your house that you can go to and just debrief, just, maybe out in your yard or wherever, just go for a few moments. And maybe even, encouraging your children to understand that there's times that you need to step away. There's times that you need 5, 10, 30 minutes on your own, and they'll start to honor that once they know how important it is to you. For single mothers, when you are raising your children, I know there are unique challenges, that it's easy to say, take time out, coffee with your friends. And it's easy perhaps for someone who has a spouse who can, look after the children. But can I say, moms who are raising children on your own, that you can still take time out for yourself. They may not be that 2 hours away in the shops or having coffee, but you can certainly step out, your yard, or find a place where you can sit in solitude maybe, or connect with other parents, find other ways you can connect, engage with other moms, engage with other parents, and you can collaboratively do that. I'm also mindful that as single moms, the demands can be so much, and don't allow yourself to get overwhelmed to that point. There is support available for moms, for anyone for that. So please reach out. Do not struggle on your own, and you'd be surprised how willing people are to support and to journey with you. I think sometimes we don't verbalize that need, but you'd be surprised how willing people are to help if you speak up. And so that is for single moms or moms who are raising children on their own. But I'm also mindful there are other kinds of moms, moms who are raising children with disabilities. There's moms who are struggling themselves with different things. Can I say that there is support? Do not do it alone. There's something about being a mom that if you reach out to another, find one you can trust and you can journey with, or find an organization or somewhere you can tap into that can support you, walk with you, but certainly be intentional about not doing it on your own. Well, biggest culture shock. I think a lot of it is a culture shock. Honestly, I think a lot of it is a culture shock because you almost have to rewire. It's almost like you block out the way you are parented. You take out those good aspects, but you certainly block out a big part of it. I mean, things like here I hear kids asking to go for sleepovers. I mean, where I never, ever would ask or even knew. I don't think it was even a concept, about sleepovers. And so things like that, you just somehow learn to either embrace them, or there's times you have to put your foot down and say, no, you cannot do this. But then you also need, and this is something maybe I can say culturally we are not good at doing, is we feel we do not owe our children an explanation. It's no and it's no. Why? Well, I'm the parent, I decide. You don't ask me why. I think opening up those conversations that no, you cannot do this, or you will not do this, and this is why. Really important. So for me, the culture, I think a lot of it has been a culture shock. Like truly, I think most aspects, and mind you, we are only talking 8 years. By the time we're in our teenage years, it will be a massive culture shock, yeah. Yeah, oh my goodness, that's a big one. And one, I can certainly not claim expertise, but I can certainly talk to my personal experience. Like one of the things that I've really thought about actively is how can I ensure that my children are confident in who they are as people? Like, they've embraced who they are as people, they've embraced their identity, their look, everything about them. And that is a work in progress. So some of the things I've done, I ensure that I engage them in community things. So when there is something and it's got community, I'll get them in there. I've also ensured that where there are programs running for children, for younger people, I immerse them in those things. So any opportunity I have to cause them to appreciate their heritage, their culture, their people, I really take advantage of it. And already they're starting to really embrace that. When you take them they really do note the distinction. Like when they go for birthday parties, say for their school friends, we'll have their 1 hour and we'll have our fairy bread and we'll have our, snacks and the party's over and we go home. But when they go to a Kenyan party, oh my goodness, they're asking about when's the after party, when's the after party? They know it's, after party is on. So I think those are really things that, they've really come to embrace and enjoy, understanding the connections, the sense of community belonging, the way we understand a child is raised by a village, that they can see, another and say, how's uncle such and such or auntie, and they're not biologically their auntie or uncle. So they've already got in them that strong identity. But on the same token, I think it's important as a parent to empower them, that they own their identity, they walk in their identity, and they walk with their heads held high. And that's the work in progress. You can talk, you can encourage, but it's yet to be seen, that investment, how it pays off down the track. But I really, I'm learning and I'm observing and I'm seeing parents who are ahead of me who've done well, whose children are well adjusted. They seem to really be, kicking goals, doing well. And that's where I want to emulate and aim, but it is doable. There's also programs like, the Swahili school and things. And, there's something I appreciate about many cultures that I've observed here who are able somehow to take the best of both, that their children have a good grasp of their own culture, an appreciation of their own culture, their own languages, their food, their dress, but still very much be a part of the Australian. And I think maybe that's where the fine line that many parents have struggled with from our culture, our community, but it is doable. So let's get those programs up and running. Let's get the language schools. Let's do all of those things, and it is, we can raise those children. But mine, work in progress. Yeah, oh my goodness, give us a break. Let us just chill, put our feet up. Oh my goodness, it's quite a job. But honestly, mothers love to be appreciated in any number of ways. For some, they love that gift. For another one, they want you to make them a cup of tea and allow them to just sit and read a book. And it's fine. I think the important thing is how it's done. It's the heart with which you do it for your mother. But can I say, above the material things, moms want to be loved. Moms want to be respected. Moms want to be valued. Moms want to know that even when they make mistakes, because they are human, that love is unconditional. If you can do that, that's the best gift any mom can ask for. And so, with that, can I wish all you moms a happy Mother's Day, a really, really special day with your children. Take time to reflect and to just enjoy the love being lavished on you. And if there is no one doing anything for you, can I just say you are appreciated, you are loved, and enjoy the day. Do something special for yourself. Make a cup of tea, sit down and celebrate. You are special. So happy Mother's Day to all you moms. And to my mom, thank you. Thank you for raising me. Thank you for the sacrifices. Thank you for the discipline. It has shaped me and made me who I am. And I just pray that you'll have a wonderful Mother's Day. Thank you. And to the dads, by the way, there are dads who are doing the role of a mom. Happy Mother's Day as you play both roles. I know there are dads who fit into that, so we're not leaving you out.